When I was a child, I vividly remember one evening after my mother had finished a long day of hard work. She prepared dinner. The kitchen was filled with the delicious aroma of golden fried eggs and fragrant sausages. However, there was one thing that caught all of my attention: a plate of slightly burnt toast. As my mother placed dinner in front of my father, I remember waiting to see if anyone would notice the burnt toast, but my father simply picked up the toast and ate it, smiling at my mother. Then he asked me how my day at school was. I don't recall what I said that evening, but I do remember watching my father spread butter and jam on the toast and eat it bite by bite. As I got up from the table, I heard my mother apologize to my father for the burnt toast, but I will never forget his response. "Darling, I like my toast a little burnt." Later that night, I went to say goodnight to my father. I asked him, "Dad, do you really like burnt toast?" He hugged me and said, "Your mother worked hard today. We shouldn't overlook all of her efforts because of a minor flaw. In this world, we need to learn to accept each other's imperfections. Embracing our differences is crucial for creating a healthy and lasting relationship."
In my 60s, I witnessed an unforgettable scene. A son took his elderly father to a restaurant for lunch. The father was physically weak and accidentally spilled food on his pants and clothes while eating. Other customers looked at them with disgust, but his son remained calm. After the meal, instead of feeling embarrassed, the son quietly took his father to the washroom to clean the food stains off his clothes, wash his face, comb his hair, and help him put on his hat. When they came out, the whole restaurant fell silent, and everyone stared at them, unable to understand why someone would put themselves in such an awkward situation in public. The son calmly went to the front desk to pay the bill and prepared to leave the restaurant with his father. I stopped the young man and asked, "Don't you think you left something behind?" The son replied, "No, sir." I retorted, "No, you did. You left a lesson for every son and a hope for every father." The restaurant became even more silent. I often tell this story to my children. Caring for those who once took care of us is one of our greatest honors. We all know how much our parents care about every little thing about us, and we should also express our love and respect for them through our actions.
On a stormy night, an old couple hurriedly walked into a hotel and asked for accommodation for the night. The night shift attendant politely said, "I'm very sorry, but all the rooms are booked today. However, if you don't mind, you can stay in my room. It's quite simple, but it's clean. I have to work the night shift so I can rest in the office and handle some accounting issues." The young man sincerely made this suggestion. The old couple gratefully accepted his offer and apologized for causing any inconvenience to the attendant. The next day, after the rain had cleared up, the old gentleman went to pay the bill. The same attendant was still at the front desk. The attendant smiled warmly and said, "You didn't stay in one of our hotel rooms yesterday, so we won't charge you for it." The old gentleman nodded in approval and said, "You are the kind of employee every hotel owner dreams of having. Maybe I can help you build a hotel someday." The attendant felt flattered but thought the statement was too exaggerated, so he just took it as a joke. 2 years later, the attendant received a registered letter from the old gentleman, mentioning the incident that had occurred on that stormy night. Attached to the letter was an invitation and round-trip tickets to New York, inviting him to visit. At an intersection in Manhattan, the attendant met the old traveler again. The old gentleman pointed to a magnificent new building standing at the intersection and said, "This is the hotel I promised to build for you. I hope you will come and run it for me. Remember? I made that suggestion back then, and I meant it seriously." The attendant was overjoyed, and his speech became stuttered. "Do you have any conditions? Why did you choose me? Who are you really?" "My name is William Astor. I have no conditions. I said it before, you are exactly the kind of employee I've been dreaming of." That building is the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, a symbol of ultimate prestige in New York, and the preferred accommodation for high-level politicians visiting the city. The attendant who took on this job was George Bolt, the man who established the Waldorf Astoria as one of the most charming hotels in the world.
A couple moved to a new house in a small town. One morning, the wife saw through the window that the neighbor was drying clothes. Seeing this, the wife said to her husband, "Jackson, look at how dirty our neighbor's clothes are over there." The husband was busy reading a book and paid no attention to it. Another day, the same scene happened again, and she said to her husband, "Maybe it's because her soap is not good, or she doesn't know how to wash clothes correctly. Even after washing, the clothes still look dirty." For some time, every time the wife saw the neighbor drying clothes, she would be surprised at how dirty the clothes were and wondered why they couldn't be washed clean. So she said to her husband, "We should teach her how to wash clothes." However, the husband remained silent about this matter. One morning, the wife woke up and looked out the window, suddenly screaming in surprise, "Oh, the clothes look particularly clean today. Maybe our neighbor finally learned how to wash clothes." The husband replied, "It's not her. I just woke up earlier today and cleaned our window." Sometimes our perspective can affect our view of things. Before judging others, we should objectively understand the situation. Due to emotional issues, a couple had to get divorced. The little girl lived with her father. One night, while the father was putting the girl to bed, she suddenly asked curiously, "Daddy, where did Mommy go?" The father closed the storybook and softly said, "You've heard many stories about angels. An angel flies to a place, and if she finds that someone is cold, hungry, or in need of help, she stays to help them. If everything is fine, the angel can fly away and continue looking for people who need her help. Parents are like angels who come to take care of their children and grow up with them. As in our home, a daddy can take good care of many by himself. So Mommy felt reassured leaving you with me. Mommy went to a faraway place to be an angel and take care of other children who need her more." When Minnie grew up, she realized that her mother didn't actually become an angel. Her father had told her a lie. But it was this lie that filled Minnie's childhood with pride and hope, turning what could have been a painful life into one that was happy and fulfilling.